Hey man, how you doing?
Gerry, how's it going?
Rocking. You ready for your interview, yeah?
Yeah, ready for the interview. Let's do it.
Well, I mean, I say interview, but I actually think we can play this pie face. That'd be good. Try and get your inner Charlie Chaplin on. That'd be good fun.
Pie face, Charlie Chaplin. I think it was Mabel Normand, 1913. I think she was the first documented pie in the face.
You really know your slapstick?
I do.
Cool. Let's go. That's kind of weird.
Hi, I'm Alex Leavitt, number 12 for the Braehead clan. I play center and right wing, and I am an offensive player whose job is to put points on the board.
Thanks very much for joining me, man. It's obviously going to be a very serious interview,
Yeah.
as you can tell, yeah. Have you ever had anything like this before? Any other team? Like a serious sit-down interview, we can look back over your career?
Yeah, like a couple of really important, serious interviews back in the day, and
Yeah.
now I'm doing one with whipped cream and a child's game. So
Yeah.
my career has obviously taken a nice little arc here.
I think it has. I think it's going onwards and upwards, I think.
this is.
So the general idea, as I'm sure you can see, the instructions aren't that difficult. It's not very complicated.
I'm still lost. I'm still
You
lost.
still, well, it's okay. Don't worry about it. All you need to do is you need to just spin this little wheel, and wherever it lands, that's how many cranks you have to do, and obviously it kind of speaks for itself.
But I want to eat the whipped cream, so I kind of want it to happen.
I'm not going to lie to you. I want it to happen too.
Yeah.
So we're all working to the same.
This is a family show, right? Like, what's going on here with the whipped cream? Like, getting whacked around? Like, what are we doing?
We're safe. We're safe.
We're safe.
We'll just do a little scissor paper stone. Who goes first?
Okay.
So we'll just do the interview and just see where we get to while playing the game. Okay.
Okay, is it 1, 2, 3 go, or is it 1, 2, 3?
1, 2, 3, then out.
Okay, 1, 2, 3 and out.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
out. I mean, rock wins.
Yeah. Rock
Always
wins,
go rock.
Which means that you have to go first.
Oh, what are you talking?
Because you want it. You said it
That's
yourself.
true. That's true. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, so get your head in there.
I got to spin, right?
Yeah, spin it and we'll conduct the interview. 4. Okay, so if you put your chin on the splatting pallet there. Okay, so first off, Alex, if you could just sort of tell us a little bit about getting into hockey back home. How did that work out and what was your introduction?
Well, I started playing hockey when I was like 2 years old, and there was an old tennis court that was right beside my house, and it used to freeze over every wintertime, and there used to be kids from the neighborhood that used to go out there and skate. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, I guess you lose that one. So tell us a little bit more about this tennis court then. So it was all the kids in the neighbourhood would get access to it, yeah?
Yeah, so, obviously in your neighborhood you've got bigger kids that, you look up to, and they used to always go out and skate on the tennis court, and it would freeze over. So that was the first time I was ever kind of on the ice when I was 2 and 3 years old. The local tennis court would freeze over. And it's Canada, right? Everyone plays hockey. You just kind of get into it, and, I just...
4 as well.
Whoa, come on.
So, I mean, obviously, was it a particular family member that got you into hockey, though? Was it a father or brothers or cousins and kind of thing? Usually there's like one major
Well, I was the oldest brother. I got 2 younger brothers, and so my dad kind of was a hockey player growing up, and he just kind of bought me some skates.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing those kids in the neighborhood skating on that tennis court and being like, I want to be out there too. So I didn't take a lot of pushing. I saw it, and what happened there?
That was my 4.
You did 3.
I did 4.
Can we do instant replay?
I'm sure we can check that back there. So it was definitely 4.
You sure that was 4?
I'm absolutely certain it was 4. So then, obviously, do you know it's funny when I've chatted to Stefan Meyer and Chris Holt, who actually mentioned you had quite a reputation too. You got there, quite a reputation as a junior player, weren't you? Like there's in their words, they were saying that everyone knew about Alex Leavitt in the Saskatchewan area in particular.
Well,
you were named Rookie of the Year, weren't you?
Yeah, that was back in junior when I was 16 years old.
So you're tuning in there so we can so we can see you properly. It's for framing reasons.
Most of the guys that are at this level now that have played pro were obviously good when they were young. It's very hard to bloom. In your 20s, you have to be somewhat of a player in your teens. And I was a good junior player, and I played with Steph at Notre Dame when we were younger and stuff like that.
Well, the actual things that Stefan Meyer told me as well was that actually everyone knew you in the area. There was like the new Gretzky was the chat.
This is ridiculous. This thing is rigged. Oh.
There you go.
Oh.
Well, yeah, the chat that I heard was, even Chris Holt said he played against you. I don't know if you remember that. If you chatted with Chris Holt last year about it, he said that he'd played against you junior game and you were a player that they knew about and had been warned about beforehand as well. I mean, were you aware of that kind of thing at that age? Reputation?
Not really. I mean, obviously, you just do as good as you can, and if you get to play on some high level teams, obviously you're doing some things right. But I was in no way, better than any other kids my age. There's so many good players that come out of Canada that are top level players, and you just try to do your best. You don't really think you're kind of special or anything.
But you were named Rookie of the Year, though, which is quite a
which,
to carry.
Yeah, it's a nice little thing to win, but at the end of the day, you're only 16 years old. There's still a lot of development that needs to happen. So, I don't think it was that big of a deal, Gerry, to be honest.
Yeah. And after that, and obviously the drafting system comes on, you were undrafted to start with. That set you off down a different route. That also ended up being really successful for you in a way, do you not think?
Yeah, no, I always kind of look at getting not drafted as a major turning point in my life. If you get drafted, maybe you get plugged into a system with a team and you don't end up down a certain road. And, the road I ended up when, I met my wife, I have my son, and a lot of that, obviously comes from where you end up in hockey. Hockey drives your life and where you play and where you end up. So, obviously I would have liked to have been drafted, but you look at the other side of it, the road it's taken me, it's led to me to my family and the life we have now, and I wouldn't change a thing.
Well, of course, it ended up in taking you to the East Coast, really. We had a hugely successful season in Alaska there. By the way, that was my 3. A fantastic season in Alaska where you ended up, that was Rookie of the Year. You've got 3 to do there. Okay. Rookie of the Year, you won the Kelly Cup over there as well. That must have been a fantastic season for you, and it led back to the AHL.
Yeah, I took a different route, right? Some guys obviously get to the AHL a little bit quicker. I had to go the 1 year in the East Coast League. I had a great time playing in Alaska. Loved it up there. I had a fantastic coach who really helped me change some things in my game. He obviously went on to coach the NHL. His name was Davis Payne. He was a fantastic coach. And we had a great year. We won the championship. Obviously, when you're on a good team, it helps you get to the next level. Went to the American League. Had a couple seasons there and, did as good as I could, but it became pretty obvious pretty quick to me when I was about 24 years old that I don't think I was ever going to have quite the speed or the size or the strength to really play at the top league. And my agent at the time just said, I think that your best option is probably to go to Europe and to start a career over there. And that was kind of the decision that was made.
And just before that though as well, you obviously met your wife there. Now you met Lindsay. You got your Southern Belle.
Yeah.
That you met over in was that in Texas then as well, or was that?
Yeah, I was playing down in Houston. I got traded to San Antonio and met Lindsay down there, and it was
5.
5. This one's got to happen. This one's got to happen.
No way, man. No way.
So I met her, and then we were off to Germany the next year, and it was pretty kind of a crazy whirlwind beginning of the relationship. Yes, finally.
Yeah, it was a fantastic. But obviously, it's been an. This is not a normal interview, is it? Really?
It's ridiculous.
Let's stop pretending.
It's ridiculous.
Let me just top you up there, though. But then after that, obviously, you met Lindsay, so that was a great, path for you to take. But then you ended up coming to Europe. So what was the idea for that? And did you know where you wanted to play, or was it just see what options were available? Because it was Germany.
I got a deal in the DEL, which was which was really difficult to get at the time. They were really only taking NHL players and kind of proven American League players. So I was playing in the East Coast Hockey League and the American League, kind of up and down. So to get a deal in the German top league at the time was fantastic. So I was really fortunate to get my start in Europe. And we were off. We kind of didn't know a lick of German. We were in a fairly German-speaking town. We didn't really know what we were doing, so we kind of just went with it. You're 24 years old. You just go, man. You just have fun, and we did, and it was great. We had a great 2 years there.
Do you speak a lot of German? You picked up much?
Oh my God. Scheiße. Yeah, there's my German.
I'm so sorry I made you do this.
It's ridiculous. I haven't had lunch yet, so this is perfect, right?
You're worrying about bulking up for the rest of the season. They were like, how come Levy's like this? This is the most weighty I've seen him in a season.
Strictly whipped cream.
I think you've lost pretty dramatically there, man.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to kind of cover any more. Maybe do one more just before we finish there. But obviously, Europe was a great journey for you. You got to travel around quite a bit there. Yeah. You met up obviously with Stefan Meyer. Was he a key reason for you ending up at Braehead Clan?
He was the reason. The way that things are in the UK right now, there's a lot of word of mouth, and that's kind of how guys get to teams, and coaches and general managers rely on players quite a bit for their input. So I stayed in good contact with Mizey. He's been a friend of mine for almost 20 years now. So just kind of stayed in contact with him. He said nothing but great things about this place. Playing for Ryan was a nice change of pace compared to a lot of coaches in Europe. Ryan's very easy to communicate with and get along with, and that's a really nice change. But just coming here was a real nice change of pace for me, and I really wish I had come a few years earlier, to be honest. Unfortunately, I've only been here for 2 years. Wish I had been here for longer. Yeah, well, at least you had the chance to extend as well, and the opportunity to come back with the Clan. You were last season's top point scorer. How much do those stats matter at the end of the day? Because
in one way, it's people say it doesn't matter because it's all about the team, and then the other way, it's like, well, the first thing people do is look at stats.
Yeah, I mean, stats are, they're important to a degree, obviously. If you play on a team and you get a lot of goals and assists and your team is in the bottom of the table, well, then I don't think your stats really matter, because it kind of shows that you were pretty, unreliable in other areas. But if you play on a team and your team does well and you score and statistically you do well, then obviously your contribution is a pretty important factor to why the team was successful. So I think you have to look at it both ways. Obviously last season, with the amount of points I scored and with how close the team was to winning, I felt like I was a pretty important player for the team, and definitely wanted to come back and maybe get us 2 spots higher this year.
Yeah, well, for sure, everyone can agree with that one. What are your hopes for this season? I mean, partly you've come back as well. Sorry, I've got us all covered in cream in this interview. But obviously, you've got those hopes and expectations this season, but you're back again with your family now as well. It's a different kind of stage in life. And then you've got a totally different line mates at the moment, the way it's working out. What are your hopes for this season?
First off, it's great to be back in a place for the second year. We've bounced around quite a bit the last 6-7 years, so it is really nice to be back in a familiar situation with a coach who knows what my strengths and weaknesses are and things like that. Obviously the team's had a lot of turnover. There's a lot of new guys. There's a new system that 10 or 12 or 13 new guys need to learn. So there will be some growing pains at the beginning, but I think the overall skill level of the team this year is strong. I think we're deeper than we were last year, and I think as soon as we get on the same page, which hopefully is right away, I think this team has all the capabilities of winning a championship.
And finally, what do you think is actually harder, being in the Elite League and battling out in the Elite League season, or in the summer holidays having to buy houses with Lindsay there and turn over these houses and flip them and sell them again? This is something you did over the holidays, wasn't it? That was the first time that you did that, buying these houses and working in the gardens and in the kitchens, making it. What was that like?
Working as a hockey player in the wintertime is almost like a breeze compared to boss man Lindsay Leavitt yelling at me to fix this and do this. No, I mean, she was great.
Because I saw a picture of you and there's the two of you in the garden, and she's covered in mud and got clumps of gutter weeds and whatever, and you had slightly muddy knees.
Oh, come on.
Slightly muddy knees.
What are you talking about? I was in there. I dug a ditch, man. I dug a full ditch.
You are a man now, my son.
You know how much it rains in Houston? I dug a ditch that saved that house. I'm not saying I'm a hero, but it was borderline heroic.
Well, we'll tell you what, good luck, not only just for this season, but good luck for your heroics in the off-season. Yeah. Should we have one more go at this?
Yeah, why not? Why not just finish it off?
Let's do it. Let's see who wins this time then. Okay, you take a spin first. This is
sure.
This is for me. Let's see how many I've got to do.
What is that, 4 or 5?
4.5?
4.5. I don't know how that works, but
you go for it. I reckon you go 4, and if it doesn't work, you go 5. 3, 4,
5.
Oh!
Let's see it.
What have I got?
That's 4. That's a 4, baby. That's a 4.
1, 2.
Oh!
Right, okay. Alex, and on that highly respectful note, thank you very much for your time. Good luck with the season.
Thanks, man.